Hey fam, hope you're doing well. Dad here. On this video, I just wanted to share on how we adopted our dog, Lexy. That person right there. Ain't that right, Lexy? What are you doing, Lexy? So to give you some background, it was April of 2020, right at the start of the pandemic. The world came to a standstill. I worked from home. My kids were remote learning for school. They were 16 and 15 years old at the time, and nothing else to do. Everything was shut down. I think we all remember that, and we were bored. My kids started seeing on social media about pets being adopted during the pandemic, and they pleaded with me. They wanted a dog. I hesitated because I didn't think my kids would help taking care of a dog. There's a lot of responsibilities involved in taking care of a dog. And they promised, but again, I've heard those promises before. I grew up, with a small dog. We had a Bichon when I was a kid, and it was a challenge. You constantly had to feed it, walk it, potty, pick up its poop, and the Bichon that we had growing up was very anxious. It would lash out at other dogs, wasn't very social. And I knew, it was difficult. But, again, I was a kid at the time. And, when I was a kid, my parents never really held me accountable, in taking care of the dog. But in this situation with my kids, I told them they needed to take ownership. So we started browsing. We looked around at shelters, adoption places all around the greater Seattle area. No one really had a dog. A lot of these dogs, were being adopted during the early stages of COVID. I Googled searched, some adoption, dog adoption places in the greater Seattle area. And we found this one place called Wet Noses Dry Paws. So I started following their Instagram page, and sure enough, there was Lexy. She was posted the day after she arrived from Guadalajara, Mexico. The story was on Lexy. She was rescued from the streets of Guadalajara. My daughter was able to find the rescue that found Lexy on the streets and was able to get pictures the day she was rescued. She looked really sad, and she was about 2 years old when she was shipped from Mexico to the greater Seattle area to be adopted. So when we were doing our search, we were looking for a dog that was no more than 50 pounds. I didn't know what it was like to have a big dog. I was fearful that the kids couldn't take care of it. We've never had a large dog before. I couldn't imagine what it would be like taking care of a larger dog. And on the Wet Noses Instagram site, when they posted Lexy was available for adoption, it showed that she was 55 pounds. So, during this time with the limited availability of dogs that were available for adoption, I reached out to Wet Noses and asked if we could do a 1-week trial with Lexy. We communicated with the foster mom. We filled out all the paperwork during that time as well, and we communicated with the foster mom that was taking care of Lexy during this time. And even though it was a small sample size, the foster mom only had Lexy for a couple days. What she told us was, she was terrific. She was potty trained, which was huge. Food motivated, very quiet, and doesn't seem to be anxious. So after hearing that feedback, we decided to do the 1-week trial. And we haven't looked back since. Lexy's been such a terrific addition to our family. We've had her for, under 4 years now. She's very mellow. She is very food motivated. She's potty trained, which is huge. The only, I guess, negative sides are, and it's not that bad, is that, she can be very territorial on the house, especially when visitors come in. So Lexy is, we haven't done any kind of DNA test, but we think she's a retriever and a cattle dog mix. And just with her cattle dog kind of in her, whenever visitors come by, she's very territorial, and she can be intimidating, but she does nip. at, people's kind of ankles, around their pant leg area, just to kind of, I think, keep them in check. I think that's kind of the cattle dog mentality. But after like 24 hours, if we have visitors that are staying with us, after 24 hours, she mellows out. She trusts those people up to a certain, I guess, limit. But she stops nipping and being territorial. And again, we just ask the visitors to give her some treats. And she's fine after that. So like we said, Lexy's very food motivated. She came to us at 55 pounds. She's gained a few pounds since that. And we consider it love fat. At times she's tipped the scales. I think the highest she's been at 78 pounds. We have scaled back on the treats and the food, and she's more probably around 70 pounds right now. Man, she doesn't really seem to be heavy. The vets, when we take her for the annual checkup, doesn't seem to be an issue with her weight. So that's a good thing. But I can tell you it's a lot of responsibility on raising a dog. It can be a small dog or a large dog. There's a lot of responsibility involved in it. But it's been great. I'll provide some updates on future videos of Lexy and, share kind of what she does day in and day out. So subscribe. Let me know what you want to know about Lexy. If there's any future videos that you'd like to see of Lexy, put a comment below in the video. So like I said, tell me your thoughts, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Again, these are my perspectives and views. I'm not a certified professional. I'm just a dad. That's all I got. Stay safe, stay positive, and be happy. Love you, Dad.